Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on this channel. Today we're going to be building a massive steampunk clock tower to fit in with the rest of the city that I have going on here. I'm going to build it right about here, so it's in a fairly undeveloped area. I'm going to extend more this way and that way, I think. And we're just going to build it right here. So the first thing I need to do is fill in this river because you can't build a clock tower on a river. So what I've done here is I've just completely flattened out this river. It's really ugly. I kind of did some terraforming over this side, but not at all over this side. I'll probably extend like this bit more that way so I have more room to work with in the future. But for the moment, this is all we need. I've also marked out where I want the build to be and about how big I want it to be, at the bottom at least. So I'll probably this is going to be my absolute border, so I'll probably start working from one block inside this, just so that I have some idea of what size it's going to be. And in between clips, I've also done a sketch of what I want it to be. So usually I don't do this, I just sort of wing it because I have some sort of an idea in my head. But I've never really done a clock tower before, and I don't really know what I want to do with it. So I made a lovely Minecraft sketch. I'll probably put it up on the screen. But what I'm thinking of is I'm going to have 3 layers to this, or 4, I guess. 4 like equal size layers. So I'm going to have the bottom one be like the foundation, and then, so that's just like where there's going to be a massive door that nobody's going to go in, and there's going to be all the sort of foundations like I've got with this build. You can't really see it because it is quite high up, but like over here like this, but like bigger. And then the next layer up, I'm gonna have cogs. Yes, dirt is very much like a copper color. But yeah, I'm gonna have maybe a different material, maybe not. Actually no, I'll probably still keep it stone, but I want it to have like mostly glass on the front and back. And maybe the sides, I don't know. I think the front and back would just look a little bit better though, because the sides it won't look that great because cogs are fairly 2D in Minecraft. But yeah, I want to have like a lot of glass here and show cogs inside really working, which gives it that sort of steampunk vibe. And then I want to have the clock face, so we'll make that birch, I guess. So that'll be the clock face. And then on top of that, what can I use? I can use a stone cutter. And then on top of that, I want to have a big roof. I want to have like a pointy roof like this, but that coming out on all different sides. For now, I'm going to work on building a nice foundation, and it's probably going to be very similar to the ones I've done before. So what I'm going to start with, this is the middle, so I'm going to step in 1 block, I think. No, 2 blocks. And then I want it to be a 3x3 where the entrance is going to be, so I'm just going to mark that out real quick. So I've now marked out where I think the entrance is going to be. I'm going to mark out some blocks from there until I get to, actually no, I think that's good, so just 3 blocks plus the 2 edge ones. It's like that, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then I'm just going to extend it back for the same amount that is a width, because squares. So this is going to be the base for the clock tower. I think it's pretty good, honestly. I'm going to add in some supports on the bottom. I think just everywhere on the bottom and on the corners, of course. So I'm going to start with the corners and just mark out where I want them to be. Honestly, I'll just do them like every 3 blocks where I've marked it out because it's the same on all sides and it doesn't interfere with the door. So I'll do supports there and then on the other sides, of course. And then I'm planning to just build this square up for another couple blocks, and then I'll drop the corners and keep doing it, and I'll put like walls or something in the corners so that like there is a corner, but it's just sort of not the same shape all the way up. So yeah, what I'm doing with these supports is just sort of framing where I think there's gonna be windows, because I want to make some sort of like windows in here. I'll probably make them out of like a stair block sorry, not a stair, a fence block, and then maybe put some trapdoors or something behind it, because I'm not going to make an interior for this, and I don't want anyone to be able to really see in, but windows are such an important part of a building that sort of makes it the building that it is. Like, this building would have an entirely different vibe if it had windows, and like even this window at the front here that I haven't put any glass in, it completely changes how this front section actually looks. So yeah, putting in windows and making sure they're framed is a very important part of at least my builds. So what I've done is I've just made the supports, built it up, and I'm at the point where I think I just want to do, honestly, nothing more on this. There's nothing more on this foundation level. I will add in windows and sort of terraform it so that it's all flat and the windows aren't poking out where the floor is. But for this level, I think I'm pretty much done for the basic shapes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build it up. So what I want for the next section of this build, because I'm envisioning it in sort of segments, is I want to go up on the corners with this block palette still, but every second block have a block that goes in. I think it will just make it A, look supported, and B, look like it's hugging the building. So it's just holding it together. And then in between them I want to make the other side be nether brick, and this is what's going to be on the sides. So this will be like the stone and stuff, and then there will be the nether brick, and then in the middle I would like to make like a big glass wall, light grey glass wall, and then inside that we'll make some cogs out of like copper and polished andesite and polished granite, and probably not polished diorite, but like all those sorts of shiny blocks. But yeah, I am gonna get just this bit done for now and see how it looks. Let's get into a time lapse. So what I've done is I've just done exactly what I've demonstrated here, but up here, and I love it. I have one corner yet to do, but I really like it. It is only 5 wide or something in between here, but I think that's okay. It doesn't have to be the widest thing in the world. Like, there is a lot of area in there for me to fill up with cogs, and I don't want to be filling like an endless place with cogs just because it'll look nice. So I'm pretty happy with this width. I'm going to add like 2 layers of nether brick at the bottom and at the top, and then put the glass in there, I think. But yeah, I'm going to finish the other thing, add in 2 layers here, and then maybe some stairs so that it's not like super squarish. I think that's a good frame. Once we add detailing at the bottom, it'll look less thick, because that is only like 2 blocks tall, but it looks like a lot. I think once I add detailing in down here and just make it look that bit better down here, it'll look a bit more normal here, and then I'll just add the thing at the top for all of the sides, and then we can add in some stairs to make it a little bit less square, and some glass in behind it. I'm very happy with this, how it's come out. It's like it's not super rectangular, and it has just that bit more shape in the corners that it just makes it look so elegant. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to build the cogs inside, because I think they're a really vital part of the build. And what I'm going to do for them is I have 4 different blocks that I want to use. I have gold. I think I'm just going to do one big-ish gold one in the center somewhere. And then copper. I'll do a bunch of small copper ones. The reason I'm making gold a big one is because A, it stands out the most, And B, it doesn't have stairs. So copper and exposed copper and polished andesite all have stairs, but this one doesn't, so I'm only going to do 1 or 2 fairly big ones in gold. And then I've got exposed copper, which I don't have heaps of, but I think it's a good way to sort of make it look like have different sort of textures while like different colors while making it like the same texture, because these all have a border, and it's just sort of that sense of continuity between the textures, but not between the colors. And then polished andesite, I might only do 1 or 2 of these because it just doesn't pop quite as much. But yeah, these are the 4 colors that I'm going to be working with, and let's go make them. I think that is so good. Obviously when I add more it'll work a lot better, but I think it works really well. I might on the sides maybe just have 1 gold block there, just because it makes it look less like a hashtag and more of like a circular thing. But other than that, I love it. Oof, I love this. And it's even gonna look pretty good from the sides, like as long as you're not flat on. I mean, it could still look good if you're flat on, but it's gonna look so good from the sides as well. I don't regret making these glass windows, because you can just sort of see the inner workings. It's so cool. I love it. And I think if I do things like this, like a couple times where they sort of overlap, like especially if they're not like quite on the same level, like if it's just one behind or in front of another, I think it'll look really cool, because it'll look like they're sort of, like if you look from here, it looks like they're sort of turning each other. When you sort of remove that depth aspect, they're turning each other, and it really is like cogs working to make a clock move. It's so cool. And I'm not forgetting to wax this one. I don't think I realized quite how little space I have in here. That's okay, that's fine. I'm gonna do a exposed cut copper thing here, like in this this region backwards, this block sort of thing, that sort of covers both of these, and then maybe a small polished one over here. Honestly, I'm considering adding just like another exposed one up here. I think it'll just work that much better, because even though it will be like a lot higher than the top of the window, from down here it'll just look that much more filled, and then it can sort of go up into the clock towery bit, because that's what clocks do. They're supposed to actually work the clock. But yeah, I'm gonna add another exposed one up here, a big one, and I think then we'll be good. Now that is very good. This one and this one are going to be oxidized, of course. This one and this one are not, and there's 2 andesite ones. There's 2 of everything, which is this is good proportions. Yeah, I think the gold really pops, and so does the copper. Honestly, like it pops less than the gold, but it's still pretty bright. The andesite doesn't pop as much, but I think that should be okay. So what I'm going to do now is remove all the dirt from here, and then I need to decide what I want to do for the top, because I haven't done that yet. I'm going to go into a creative testing world, and we'll figure some things out. I had my sketch, but sketches only show you the shapes that you're going to do, and sort of like what you're going to do, but not how you're going to do it. And so I've been experimenting with different blocks. I'll put a couple of screenshots on the screen. But what I want to do is I want to carry in the nether brick up to the next level. So I'm gonna cap this level off with stone, because then that sort of has a cap off on either end with stone. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry up the nether brick as the rim of the clock, as you can see in the screenshot, and then have deep slate tiles, I believe they are, be the background for that. So there won't be heaps of deep slate, but I think it will still be a really cool it will be a really good new block that isn't just medium grey or like that little bit of colour that this nether brick gives. And then obviously you can see that I've got a clock design on there. It depends how big it looks on here, but I think that size is going to be pretty good. And then I'm still experimenting with the roof because it looks really skinny at the moment. I don't know, based on like the size of this build, but we'll see about that. After a lot of trial and error, I finally have a top bit that I'm vaguely happy with the shape of. It's not like the greatest shape ever, like it is a cube, but I'm pretty happy with it. There were lots of iterations. I'll put them up on the screen. It really didn't go well for a while, but I think it looks nice now. I like how these supports on the corners just look like it's just tapering off the supports that have gone through the whole build, and it's tape it off, and then maybe we can bring this block palette back with the trimming on the top, but we'll see. We might not. I just think that would look really cool because it would sort of tie in all of these blocks while not having to use like deep slate again, or you know, just using the same blocks over and over. So from down here, this bit looks pretty stumpy, but I think it looks pretty good. It does look fairly wide, but I think that'll be evened out when we put the tall roof on here. So what I want to do now is I've got a bunch of white concrete powder and some nether bricks. I will get more nether bricks, don't worry. But I'm going to put in a 7x7 white concrete circle in the middle of each of these faces for the actual clock. So that's a pretty good circle shape, I'd say. It'll look better once we put the rimming around it and it just has that little bit more shape. But for the moment, that's a pretty good circle shape, I think. It does look quite small for the area, but once we put the white in, it'll really pop. And when we put the rimming on, it'll look a lot bigger. So that looks really 2D from down here, but once we put the rimming around it, it'll probably look a lot better. I hope, at least. I hope it'll look a lot better. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we are going to put the rim around it and then do a little bit of detailing on it, and then I'm gonna make the roof basically the same as what I've got going on here, except a different color palette probably. So honestly, this is gonna be real simple, just placing blocks around the thing and then some stairs where it seems appropriate, I guess. The next thing we want to do is I have some dark oak, and we are going to make this roof. This is our place now. I would like to, actually I could do that with a different wood. I'd like to put some fences and fence gates on here, like showing the time. I think that'd be really cool. And then I'm gonna experiment with the roof, and then we're done. See, it looks great. Look at it. It's such a cool clock. So what I'm thinking for the roof is put like 2 of these sorts of blocks up here maybe, or just outline the roof in this sort of block palette and then go up and then back down, and then do that on all the sides. And then in the middle, I was gonna do like copper, like slightly exposed copper, and then normal copper and acacia and granite, but I don't think that's gonna look super great. So I'm just gonna do like this sort of block palette for the lining, and then nether bricks for the rest of it, because then it just sort of ties in the roof with the rest of the build, and it just sort of looks pretty good. I don't know if it'll be too dark. If it is too dark, I might have to introduce another color, but I think it should be fine. So I'll see you when that is done.